Toastmasters is what you want it to be, guys. Obviously it has a general context and you know it, but it's what you want to make it out, what you want to make out of it. Like for me, I met a lot of amazing people, I developed myself so much, I learned to be able to be a better listener by taking part in this, so I would suggest you to take part in this as well. Yesterday I was listening to a famous anchor woman who was giving a speech about speaking. Misket was also there. She was saying that public speaking fear is the #1 fear, by the way, like it's even before fear of death, fear of getting eaten by a shark. And the woman was telling about the biology of this fear. Before you were born, coming out of your mother's womb, you were afraid to go out. And this public speaking fear, she said, it associates from that fear, that you're afraid to go out in the world getting hurt. And it really impressed me, actually.
Welcome, everybody. As Perchin said, this is my first Toastmaster of the evening performance. I hope you will all help me in this. I chose as today's theme, social pressure, which I have some problems of, let's say, obeying or keeping in line with whatever pressure we are under. So our lovely table topics master of the evening, Hande, has also prepared some questions to you about how you feel about social pressure as well. This is going to take place during the second session. Well, before introducing, normally we introduce our role holders of the evening, but before introducing our role holders, I would like to share with you some small videos.
Which questions do you think would be asked if there were no social pressure in this room, baby? Like a crazy, he's asking food every time, and they are...
Hopefully it makes some sense. Thank you, Hande.
This is a wonderful night, as usual. I love you all.
I don't know if you remember it, but you have evaluated my 5th speech. So, so it's my time now. And guys, you should be careful about it.
Figure skaters gives a perfect performance show, but just in the middle they just fall on the ground and they get up as if nothing happened and they keep doing their performance. So we have to keep up our spring all the time.
Backing up you know, you're like many all the time. But maybe you used a little too many repetitive words, I thought.
Martin Luther King said, "We must learn to live together as brothers, or we will perish together as fools." Out deep into space and we're gonna find them. But the really interesting question is not, why haven't we found them yet? The really interesting question is, why haven't they found us yet? Because the universe is over 13.8 billion years old.
Nature that happens in a regular order. So normally that doesn't make sense. Why time and tide wait for no man? But actually for these kind of situations where you are supposed to use a visual aid and you are left with none, then you still need to move on. And I was to give an example. I'd like to thank Deniz for her inspiration with her 2 speeches where she mentioned about her Mihri teyze and her Bahar abla, which really inspired me to also pay a tribute to my late Adnan amca. Sinan and I were very close high school friends, and Adnan amca was the father of Sinan. He had a bald head, and mine is really bushy hairy compared to his. and he had a tall and thin figure. He was a civil engineer and he was a contractor for the residential apartment buildings. He loved to talk to us.
Close my eyes, I see my way to shining light. A different city every night. Whoa, I swear.
Don't turn the red light on, I'll kill you.
When I'm a billionaire. When I'm a billionaire. I wanna be a billionaire so fucking bad.
If I would hear someone singing this song, giving a speech, I would say, wow, what a materialistic piece of shit. So, you might think this. But really, I want to be a billionaire. But not in riches. My father and my mother, they were both poor and then they raised their ways up. So I was born in a middle class family. Middle upper, not super rich. But I never had problems with my standard needs. No food problems, no accommodation problem. It was always warm at the house. But the only problem was my father, coming from that much poor, he only thought that the basic needs were the essential ones and the rest were not very important. So when I entered university and I tried to get out of my comfort zone, I was saying, Dad, there is this conference in Italy, can I go there? No. There is this thing in Germany, can I go? No. Because he didn't want to pay money for this, because he thought it was redundant. It's a bit funny because he was a trainer himself. But he was this conventional kind of guy that was saying, go to the university, get good grades, do the job you like, or he was saying, do my job. At that time I was saying no, but now I'm doing that actually. And then he was saying, live this life as you were supposed to, as I do. And I was saying no. I was lucky at some point because the university started funding my travels, so I had that. I'm obviously thankful to my father because he covered all my needs, but not the ones that I thought they would be beneficial for me. So when I moved to Belgium, after my bachelor's here to work in this association, my rent was covered, my business travels were covered, and I only had 8 euros per day for food and drinks. That's it. My father gave me some money to get through the first month, but other than that, I was on my own. It was still okay, I survived, but it was like this. I was going to the market, buying cheese. I was like, okay, 2 euro, 1.70, 1.50 cheese, 50 cents, okay, that's my cheese. Above from 2 euros was not even optional. My mind was blocking that. So I was living a life like this. It was making me very happy. It doesn't change my happiness from then, where I had a little more money than that. But I know what it feels like to think about every cent on your way. A few years ago, I was working for the Australian consulate, and the secretary of one of the ministers came. I was translating for him, and he had a driver with him.
Why did you join Toastmasters?
I would rephrase it. Why don't you join Toastmasters? Why wouldn't you join a team of great people, professional, from all possible angles from the world, And why wouldn't you be part of such a great family and improve your public speaking skills? Come and just listen to somebody's story and maybe evaluate, contribute, or even participate to speeches. So I would rather answer your question by asking why wouldn't you join? There are really no reasons not to join. It's a great place.
Share your favorite memory since you became a member.
My favorite memory is watching how the other members grow. Because for some members I remember how they were frightened on their first speech. Because I was a mentor at that time and I could see that their hands were shaking. Their knees are shaking, so they had a really hard time to deliver the first speech. But then in time, I see all these people, speech after speech, became one of the greatest speakers of the club. So I think that my most favorite memory is how they really improved their skills.
At once, I sing a song and I got the certificate of that table topics section, but I left the room because I had to go to a concert. So I couldn't get my certificate and it was my first certificate. So, but when I remember it, it's a good memory.
Share your favorite memory since you became a member.
There are so many favorite memories, first of all. I can list a few, but I think the right one to list now would be the best memory remains when you do a speech and you think you've done quite a terrible job. You still have actually those people patting your back and saying it's a good job and you can improve on this or on that. And the best way is the members and non-members, they write actually a little piece of notes. Although you may not feel self-confident about your speech, they will write you a little note and say, you've done great. Even, I like this color of dress on you. So something nice. This would be one of the favorite memories of being a Toastmaster member.
What advice would you give to someone who's afraid of public speaking?
Okay, everybody has fears for anything. But as a young child, very often you don't have any fears. So fears are installed by you, by dad or mom saying, no, you shouldn't do this. Or maybe, you know, somebody thinks wrong about it. And my biggest advice is always think, what's the worst thing that can happen to you in a group of friendly people like we are? Nothing. Nothing bad will happen to you. And you can only improve. So don't be afraid and just do whatever you can and you will